Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Nimue disappeared. There she is. I can't see anything that happens behind the splash screen when we do countdown, so I'm always very surprised when people are not in the same position that I left them when I started it. Usually that's Jason's move, where I go to go live, and for some reason he's just not in his chair. It is what, Michael, as a school teacher of young children, it's what I imagine your life must be like most of the time. You just look up and you're like, why are you up? What are you doing?
Where's Suncraft?
Amazing how fast they are too.
Suncraft will be here momentarily.
No.
But let us begin our journey tonight by thanking the gods of Twitch sponsorship, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle Games, who sponsor us here at Proficiency Bonus. You can get a link to those websites by typing ! Little Dragon or ! CCG in chat at any point during tonight's stream. Little Dragon Corp is a Canadian-based dice company, and Cardboard Castle Games is a brick-and-mortar tabletop RPG store. Both of them have robust online websites where you can order their fine products, and if you purchase anything from Little Dragon Corp, you can use our code BONUS at checkout to get 15% off of your order. So thank you to Little Dragon Corp and to Cardboard Castle Games. Now we'll introduce Suncraft. Actually, it's going to take me a second because I have to type in the muted shame chamber of the Discord bot. But while we're doing that, what's the vibe of our? What do we think about?
Is the vibe?
What's Flavortown's vibe?
Do this. All right. We last left you guys off in the restaurant in the city of Terra Libra known as Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves. The restaurant run by self-proclaimed Archmage Guy Fieri. Archmage Fieri has dedicated his restaurant to the exploration of the arcane elements of flavor and all of the multi-dimensional wonders that can be experienced there within. You guys have gone there, and you requested the works, I believe, was the way it was phrased.
And the deck of henny things.
The menu featuring such items as the deck of henny things. I know there was some other ones, but I didn't write them down.
Some orc pun.
There was an orc pun. I did write Bub Donkey, which is a different thing from a different thing that we did. Yeah. But we ended last session with Archmage Fieri snapping his fingers and shouting, "Give him the works!" And all of the lights in the establishment turned off, and you guys rolled initiative. So, here's what happens. The lights in Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves, they extinguish all at once. The restaurant goes dark. As the lights go out, the sounds of the other diners, the clinking of cutlery, and the ambient sound of a Nickelback loot cover all also extinguish and go silent. Then suddenly, columns of flame appear from all directions, though they spring from an unseen source. And despite the intense whirling flames licking very close to you, you don't feel any heat coming off of them. You see Archmage Fieri. He flips his sunglasses around from the back of his head and puts them down over his eyes, and he reaches into a pocket of his robes, and he lifts out, and he casts like a handful of something into the air, and it sort of like sprinkles down around him and around you, and at first it seems like it's like pebbles or like magical dust at some or something like that, until you realize that it is bacon bits. He kind of like broadcasts this through the air. It sprinkles down, and then he disappears in like a flash of grease fire. You look across the now empty dining room, and you see that masked bartender, he like sort of turns towards you. He straightens his tie, drapes a white, like, server's cloth over one of his forearms, and then he blinks from across the room and appears, like, directly in front of your group. And he says, "Follow me." And he turns and begins to walk towards the back of the establishment.
I mean, I feel like Dykes needs to lead the way, but I kind of want to. I'm following.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely look towards Sela and be like, "Well, what are we waiting for?" And just start walking.
Let us go.
Okay. You were led from the empty main dining hall into a small private back room. There is, in this room, a table, which is set for 5 plates, knives, forks, empty like goblets, and chairs in each of these positions. And the masked individual turns to you as you guys like follow him to the doorway, kind of steps aside, gives you a sweeping gesture towards the table, and he says, "Please take your seats."
Okay.
Yes.
But I'll sit. So sorry.
I sit down next to Thixus wherever he sits.
Wherever
I'm very
Archmage
uncomfortable.
Fieri is, he finds 5 gold.
Okay. You hear from the other room, like, "Oh, sick, 5 gold."
In his
Okay.
hair.
Yeah. So everybody sits?
I guess. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very sussy.
God.
Shit.
Alrighty.
Are we now glued to the chairs?
No. Yeah, the shackles lock you guys down.
Yo, we got a hype train.
I don't know what that
Chat.
means, but thanks for chat for a
yeah.
hype train.
Yeah, hype train going on.
This
in
hype
chat.
train's going straight to Flavor Town, and it ain't got no brakes.
Hey, we're 69%.
Oh my god,
69% on the hype train.
as one does. Okay, so you guys, the vibe that I'm sensing off of you guys is pretty suspicious and pretty uncomfy with the weird.
I mean,
the
we
weird
did this to
situation.
ourselves.
You did do this to yourself.
No,
But because
some of you did this to
That's
some
true.
of us.
that's true.
But the rest of you were complacent.
Yes, because I'm gonna let you guys wander off with Thixus alone.
Well, so what
Thixus is 100% in this. I'm ready.
So what I'm gonna
I
ask
just
you
already
guys
bought
to
a
do-
T-shirt at the gift shop. That's right.
That's true. If you would like, so based on the fact that your characters are a little on edge by the situation, I will allow you either here to make a perception or an arcana check if you feel that your character would be inclined to do that, or if you're just sort of strapping in for the ride, feel free to skip the roll.
Well, it doesn't matter. I rolled a nat 1, so even though I'm really sussy, I'm like, well, this
17.
is fine.
Okay.
Perception check.
19 Arcana check.
Okay.
Old ass. That's a 13 perception.
Okay.
13 Arcana.
Alrighty. So the only one who picks up on anything. You guys sit.
Mine was a 17.
Yes, you're the only one who picks up on something, Murderbeard. You're the
No,
only
I got a
one.
19
That's a-
Arcana. I
Oh,
don't
I'm
get
sorry. Sorry, no. You will get something with the Arcana.
Okay. I was like,
So you guys notice sort of something. You each noticed something different. As you guys sit down, immediately your visions, your respective vision begins to blur, and all of your senses seem to go haywire for a moment. As you sort of lose control of your sensory inputs, Murderbeard, sort of the last thing that you snatch with your sight before you lose focus is the masked bartender removes the mask from his face. And what you see is not a face beneath the mask, but is like a black void inside which you see a bunch of sets of little white, like vaguely glowing eyes. Almost like if you imagine like a Jawa, how they just have like a black hole and then 2 little yellow eyes. It's like that with these little white eyes, except there's a bunch of sets of them inside the hood, inside like the cowl behind the mask. Rowan, what you gauge with your Arcana check is that an intensely powerful, like reality bending piece of illusion magic is like beginning. And that is what you guys gather. The rest of you are sort of so disoriented as you sit down that you don't pick up on either of those pieces of information. But what happens is your senses go haywire. For like a brief moment, it feels like somebody just jammed a bunch of like buzzing bees into your nose. You just sort of like your whole head goes static, and then that sensation passes.
Can it be anything other than bees?
It is
Ants? Question mark?
That's
Mosquitoes?
fine. Mosquitoes? I'll take mosquitoes. 500.
Cicadas are nasty looking.
Mosquitoes are nasty. They're
Locusts?
really buzzy.
Just not bees. Cool.
somebody took a tuning fork and stuck both the prongs into your nostrils and then hit the end of it.
Oh.
You asked for not bees. So that is the sense that sensation passes. Nimue.
Uh-huh.
The smell of jasmine and cherry blossom tea fills your nostrils. You are sitting cross-legged on a mat within a traditional communal daidokoro. A woman tends to the old earthen stove, and several others prepare rice and fish and vegetables on a slightly raised wooden platform. One of them turns to you, and she says, "What are you doing? Chop!" And you look down, and you realize you are holding a handful of spring onions and a knife in your hands.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah, I chop.
You begin to chop spring onions.
Ooh, yummy.
You do not recognize any of these women, nor do you recognize the kitchen that you are in. The tools and the utensils that are being used are rougher, more basic, more primitive than the conveniences you are familiar with from your home. But one of the women in this kitchen bears the markings of a Kalishtar, as you do. And all of their garb marks them as people of Naporia. And as this dish that you are cooking begins to come together, the scent of the meal that is being prepared is a traditional dish that you remember eating on many an occasion. This scent brings this flood of memories from your childhood and your adolescence flooding back to you. None of the women in this kitchen make any mention of your sudden apparent appearance in this space, nor do they treat you as a newcomer. You are, for all intents and purposes, one of them. You are one people. You belong here. As the food is placed to cook in the iron pot atop the flame, the Kalishtar, the soul-touched like yourself, she wipes her hands on a clean towel. She goes over, she pours a cup of that tea that you caught a whiff of when you first appeared here. She comes over and she hands it to you.
Before I lift the cup, can I just look down at myself and make sure that I'm still me?
Make a perception check.
Okay. That's a lot better. I think that's dirty 20.
You are you. You sort of You don't have the weird, like, dysmorphic sense of not being in, like, your own body. You're in your own body. You do notice that your clothing is different. You are wearing clothing that matches the garb of the other women who are in this space. As she hands this tea to you, she looks at you and she says, in a voice that almost has this like vague kind of like back echo to it, she says, "Food is a conduit to our past. Through recipes passed down from mother to daughter, grandmother to grandson, loved one to loved one, and between cherished friends, we carry on an unbroken chain that ties us back to our furthest ancestors. Many things are lost to time, especially in this world of ours where it seems ever and always more is lost than ever is regained. But food endures the test of time. As long as you have good food, your heart will always find a safe harbor, even on the most distant shores." She raises sort of a toast to you and takes a sip of her tea.
I will also mirror the action.
You sip your tea. It is warm. It is familiar. It tastes like home, and it tastes like somehow generations of this same tea being prepared in this same way. And as you sort of close your eyes and experience this sensation, Murderbeard, you feel a burst of burning hot air rush past your face, and you can't help but screw up your eyes to protect them from the temperature. You open them again, and you are impacted by this heavy, fatty, charred, smoky smell reaching your nostrils. A massive slab of meat cooks on a flat rock, which is being superheated by a geothermal steam vent. A stout, burly figure with a tangled black beard and flinty eyes tosses handfuls of aromatic seasoning onto the slab of meat. He turns to you, and he pulls a chunk of the haunch free with a two-pronged fork, and he offers it to you.
I don't recognize this person?
You do not. He's a dwarf, clearly.
Okay.
He is wearing a garb that you do not recognize. The place that you're in is not familiar to you.
So I'll take it.
Okay, you take it. As you hold this fork of meat in your hand, it is it's a little too hot to eat just yet. And as you kind of wait for it to cool off, this dwarf looks at you and he says, "Our food defines us, but it does not confine us, lad. Food changes. It evolves. As time passes, as cultures intertwine, as families come together, food is as infinitely malleable as we are, adaptable to any environment." He gestures for you to try the meat.
Take a bite.
The meat is tender and it is bursting with flavor. It is not a recipe that you are familiar with, but it is somehow familiar to you on a level that you can't quite make sense of. The dwarf reaches out to you and offers you he offers you like a drinking horn, and he pours a vaguely sour smelling liquid into this horn and passes it to you.
I will take that as well.
As you place your hand around this drinking horn, it becomes not a drinking horn, but a wooden flagon. The sweltering heat of the cooking chamber changes. You look into the vessel, and it is now filled with a strong mead. You look around, and you find yourself now in a lively alehouse. The floor is sand, and there are barely 4 walls, but the colorful tapestries made of dozens of personal crested flags and strung baubles make the space lively and merry. A good-natured fist fight is in progress, as buccaneers, scalawags, and sea dogs alike drink and sing and beat each other up. You look up to the dwarf that had handed you this now mead, and you see that he is no longer a dwarf, but he is a broad human man in the twilight years of his life with graying hair and scarred hands. He's a man you haven't seen in a very long time. And he's a man that looks at you with a spark of life in his eye that is the way that you always prefer to remember him. And he says to you, "Food tells the story of where you've been. It tells the story of who you are. And it'll continue to tell the story of who you become. And trust me, lad, men spend their whole lives trying to make their mark on the world. But the story we weave together through food, it'll outlive every one of us in the end. Be proud of it. Be proud of who you are. And be glad for the chance to keep letting that story grow." He raises a identical glass of mead to you to clink glasses and toast.
Right, we'll toast as well.
Toasts, and he drinks. As you pour the very familiar, low-quality mead down your throat, you feel the burning sensation as it goes down. And Rowan, you find yourself sitting on a grim, bleached outcropping of rock. Behind you, a pup tent is set up, protected from the constant wind by a small tangle of shrubby little trees. A campfire is doing a valiant job of puttering out at your feet, and a nasty set of storm clouds are on the horizon. You feel suddenly weary to your bones. Your boots are soaked through, and they are currently perched on a pair of sticks near the fire, which is doing very little to dry them. And every muscle in your body is screaming at you after a long day of brutal exertion to cap off a long week of brutal exertion. In your left hand is a water skin filled with warmish, cleanish water that you managed to collect during the rain yesterday. And in your right hand is a piece of hardtack, largely flavorless, calorically dense, and nearly impossible to chew. Beside you sits an older man, his head bald, his sort of hawkish nose, the most prominent feature on his face. He is likewise equipped with a bland piece of trail ration and a water skin. He looks out over the desolate landscape and he says, "Something about rations. I wouldn't trade the grandest feast in creation for 'em."
Is he familiar to me?
Make a history check. The 14, you, for the life of you, cannot remember his name. It's been years now. He was essentially an instructor when you were an adept, an initiate in the Order of the Radiant Dawn. And you remember this, though this conversation you don't remember. You're sort of you're in this, like, it almost begins to feel like a dream state where, like, the person and the setting and, like, the event is familiar, but this conversation is not one that you remember having before. It clicks for you that this is the very end of one of your first training sorties into the Scarred Lands, or into the Blighted Peninsula. Scarred Lands is a different thing. the Blighted Peninsula. This is very near to when your first, you first experienced, you first manifest your ability to wield the power of the Star of Dawn.
I raise the water skin in a salute to him and gnaw on the tack ration. Just gnaw at it.
He sees you kind of gnaw at it, and he sees your sort of face and your general demeanor, and he says, "Oh, you're looking at it all wrong. You see, with food, it's not just about the food itself. It's about what it represents. It's the nature of us mortals to take things for granted. I swear the wealthiest and most pampered folk in the world must be the unhappiest. Out here, doing this work grinds a man down to nothing. Nothing but his component bits. But it's good work. It's work that needs doing. And it's work that, the star willing, will make this world better. When I'm out here like this, near the end of a sortie, that's when I get a newfound appreciation for the things that really matter. The water may be dirty and warm and taste like it was filtered through a sock, because it was. And the rations might be tasteless and hard, but water is the most basic bringer of life. And nutrients to a body in need are more precious than gold. He smiles a little bit and he points to a spot on the horizon. He says, "Look there." As you turn and you look, you see a single thin beam of light breaks through the endless cloud cover that covers the Blighted Peninsula. And where it strikes the land below, just for a few moments, that small patch of landscape almost looks alive again. This moment, this singular beam of light, this ray of hope, this you remember, this did happen. He turns and he says to you, "Moments like that, all of the Dawn's rules and decrees, ceremonies and pomp, I never did truly find the divine in any of them. But here, every once in a while, something will remind me that when you've been burned away to nothing, only then can you truly appreciate what you have. The simplest drink and the most basic of sustenance is a feast that the king of Ageria could only ever dream of." And he raises his piece of hardtack to you, and he takes a bite.
I'll do the same, but I'm smiling now.
You take a bite of that hardtack, and it is no different. It is tasteless, it is lumpy, it is impossible to gnaw through, but it is the most satisfying thing you have ever consumed. And as you feel the nutrients, that most basic biological function of life, the nutrients from that piece of food entering into your body, you feel a touch of that divine power. That despite everything that has happened to you since, somehow has managed never to leave you. And as you feel that, Phyxis, you find yourself standing in a regal dining hall. A long, polished table dominates the room. The table is lined with high-backed chairs and set with fine china and silver. Men and women in expensive finery dine and talk and laugh with one another. All of them seem to be too involved in their meal and their conversation to notice you. You realize that the table and the chairs seem very tall. And the people seem quite large. You realize that you are a child again. You are perhaps 9 or 10. And the people of your father's social circle seem to have no time for one such as yourself. It can be hard to find our place sometimes. Many of us feel that we don't belong. But often that means only that we've yet to find the right seat at the right table. And a kindly woman in a servant's uniform comes over and reaches to like take you by the shoulder and guide you from the dining hall.
Does this woman seem familiar to me as well? Or does it seem like she's just a general representation?
I think she's sort of in that very much dreamlike state. She seems like sort of an amalgam of like several comforting, like, adult figures from your youth, as opposed to like a specific person. And she goes to like lead you out of the dining hall towards a door that you know leads to the kitchens.
In my child voice, I'll look up and say, "What is it that they're all talking about anyway?"
She leads you through the door to the kitchen. It sort of swings shut behind you. The sound of the discussion in there dies off, and she says, "Oh, this and that, and things of importance and things of not importance. Between you and me, I find that, well, in that life, people, the things that they say are rarely the things that they mean. And, well, I find that that's a shame." She brings you through the sort of bustle of the kitchens, past the staff who are preparing and serving dinner to the dining hall outside. She takes you to a small table in the back of the kitchen where there are several other staff eating their meal. There are even a few children who are roughly your age at this table. She leads you over to those seated at the table, and they immediately shift to make room for you to sit down. And a plate is placed in front of you, and your plate is piled with food. It is simple, but it is warm and it is rich, and the people at the table smile at you, and the other children ask if you would like to play a game after dinner.
Yes, of course.
You take a bite of your food, and the warmth of the food, as well as the warmth of the sort of the acceptance of the other children and the sense of belonging at this table warms your belly. And as that sensation floods through you, Sela, heavy aromas of spice and oils fill the air as a young furball boy dutifully bashes a bunch of lush reeds against a pile of steaming rocks under the watchful eye of an elder. The scent, the aromas, the esters from those reeds are released, and they season the very air. The rough-shod wooden longhouse is cramped, it is hot, and it is loud as the clan bustles about collectively preparing a feast. You watch as a pair of adolescent girls cast glowering looks at one another. A man passes by a woman who turns her nose up and will not meet his eye. And then an elder steps up beside you, watching the chaotic yet perfectly synchronous dance of food preparation flow around you both. Unprompted, she says to you, "Food transcends boundaries that few other things have the power to. Cultures, languages, religions, ideologies. Food has the power to take all of these and put them aside, if even only for the duration of a meal."
I just scowl at her and, Scylla probably, scoffs and rolls her eyes.
You scoff and you roll your eyes, and she just, whaps a thing of dough into your, stomach, and she goes, "Need," and she walks away from you.
Fine.
You knead, and you begin to go about the process of, kneading and working in this communal effort to create this meal. And eventually the community sits down and they begin their feast. and dishes are passed to you and passed around the table, and you watch as those dozen little outside conflicts that you observed when you first came into the room, they don't go away, but they soften, they sort of melt, they take a back seat to the pattern of passing and eating and sharing a meal. And suddenly the elder is at your elbow again, and she says, "There is old magic in the sharing of a meal. Wounds are healed, divides are crossed. Not always, but sometimes just an opening. Single moment of bonding over a meal may lay the foundation to build something more. Sometimes just that one moment is enough. That is the power that food has."
But what do you do with it after that?
She says, "That is for you to decide after. For now, you eat." And she hands you a bowl of spiced grains and oats and berries and things.
I very eagerly eat it because I don't know if I'm aware of my actual life, but if I am, it's been a very long time since I've been able to eat something from home, and Scylla's been missing it lately.
You scarf this down, and it is exactly as you remember this dish. You kind of realize all of the other dishes that you see before you, and you kind of start to realize, again, in that sort of dreamlike state, that there are people here who perhaps you know, or perhaps sort of even though they don't look the same, in your mind you know that they represent someone that you know. And there are people that you have had disagreements with, and there are people that you have feuded with, and there are people that you have fought viciously. And in this moment, all of that has been put on pause. Just for this moment. And everyone simply shares a meal. And as the familiar aromas and tastes of this food from your home sort of overflows you and reminisces, each of you experience these scenes. But you are also aware of what the others see and hear. The boundaries of your own selves are expanded. They are blurred and they are joined at the seams. For a few moments, you feel what the others feel. You are one. You drift apart and you become wholly yourselves once more. The settings around you individually grow dim, and once more you find yourselves sitting at that original table in the back room of Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves. The table before you is laden with food and with drink, and as you look around, each of you see among the offerings several dishes that bear a deep meaning to you personally. And all of the dishes are set up to be served family style. Shared. Together. And with that, why don't we take a brief break?
Yay.
Thank you guys for sticking with us so far. We will be back in just a couple of minutes. We love you. Bye.
Okay, I'm trying to get out of this meeting.
Hey, hello everybody. We are back. Sela will be rejoining us shortly. She's got some stuff to do, which was part of the reason for our 8 o'clock break, was to allow her to make her departure, and then she'll be back. So fear not, your favorite throat ripping out furball shall return briefly. But we'll pick up right where we left off. You guys are in Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves. I don't know. You're in rip-off Archmage Fieri restaurant. Oh, crap! I forgot all this time. Hang on.
Wait, what?
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Wait.
Check the stream. Check the stream.
Looking at the stream.
A bit delayed.
Oh.
I'm very behind.
Oh.
Is that?
Oh
I
my
still see
God.
nothing.
Oh
Hold
my
on,
god.
I'm just gonna reopen it.
AI generated Guy Fieri
yeah.
as an Archmage. Hell yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my God, amazing.
That's fantastic.
If I put it behind me, I'm Archmage Fieri. We'll leave that back there. So you guys are in this private room in the back of Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves. The regular noise and bustle of the restaurant has resumed out front. You can tell that there's diners here. The masked bartender individual is nowhere to be found, nor is Archmage Fieri, as you guys return to this sort of normal state of consciousness. But this feast is in front of you of all of your guys' favorite foods.
I dig in.
Sela, I was given this instruction. Sela is particularly enthusiastic about sharing a lot of the dishes that are unique to her with you guys during this meal. She is explaining what's in all of the dishes, what the ingredients are. A lot of them seem to have very specific conditions for the ingredients being able to be even harvested to make some of these dishes. She tells you that one of the dishes that you're eating is the spice in it is crafted by grinding up the seeds of a flower that only blooms once a decade. And she is dishing out this food to for all of you to try. A lot of it is to maybe more whatever the whatever the D&D fantasy realm equivalent of whatever having a more Western palate is, to those of you not accustomed to fermented shark, some of this stuff is pretty hard to stomach, but some of it's very good. So it's it could be kind of hit or miss with some of Sela's stuff as she kind of passes it around. But she is there's sort of a vibrance to her interest in sharing this with you guys that is kind of takes you guys aback a little bit.
I definitely try anything that Sela hands me, even if it initially the gut reaction is ugh.
Some of it is
Yeah.
I think Emily won't hesitate. I think she'll try every single thing that is offered via Sela, and especially she'll eye the other party members dishes and be like, "What's this? What's this?"
Yeah, I'll take anything that Sela gives me. I'm in the back of my head. I'm like, I have eaten crazier, weirder things when we had no food, so Constitution's high. Let's go.
What kind of dishes and things like that are present or represented on the table from each of you guys?
I think Sela would probably like most of mine. Mine's a lot of cooked fish, but also raw fish. There's also a lot of breaded vegetables and meats. So and then it comes with like a tangy sauce that you dip it in.
Okay.
She would probably also enjoy the teas. I think that's majority of what Nimoy's side of things are. A lot of rice and like very cleanly made, not a lot of like very simple.
Okay.
Wait, is Rowan just like rations?
No, it doesn't have to be.
No, there's other stuff there. But I'm thinking about what it is.
Murderbeard has it's mostly meat, and he's like a big one of our big favorites in Dwarven culture is we're really big on boar meat. So we take boar meat and we usually grill it up and sometimes we even cook it in the forges. And we have barbecue. We call it barbecue.
Crimes.
You did it.
So it's boar that's been grilled in the forges of Dwarven forges. Barbecue. I'll be here all week. Be sure to tip your waiters and waitresses.
Barbecue in Dwarven forges. Gotta love it.
So good. Matt, would you say that where Thixis grew up in Aldricombe, it was on a river or on a lake? Because I know there was talk about it flooded a lot around this area, so there was water close, but I couldn't remember if it was a lake or if it was a river.
If I am remembering my Delve Requisite lore correctly. Hang on.
You should just ask Brittany directly.
No, this actually predates Brittany like quite a bit.
That doesn't mean
Aldricombe.
she doesn't know it.
That's true.
This was like way back in like when you guys started, like episodes like 23 through 25 or something like that when you guys were there. So it was...
She used to watch before she used to play. So.
I'm currently looking through my notes for Aldricombe. I'm like right now.
I know I have the map of Aldricombe somewhere in this closet. The hand-painted map.
I don't actually have any of it pulled up. If I remember correctly, Aldricombe sits on the perimeter of a lake at like the mouth of a river. And the lake is like mountain melt fed, which is why in like the spring season it is like the city has essentially been built that like the lower topographical districts are built on like stilts. Whereas the upper parts are above, because every like spring, the spring melt raises the level of the lake and the river, and it turns like the lower districts into essentially like Venice, where like the roads become like canals. So that's to answer your question.
So Thixis would probably also have kind of like a mixture of, you know, like freshwater, like river type fish.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that on his plate, but he probably would also have a blend of, you know, more, I want to say like maybe things like even the equivalent of elk or something in this.
Yeah, probably
or something like that from where
elk, moose, probably a lot of like
something type.
root vegetables, things suited to like a northern climate for sure.
So it'd probably be a pretty wide variety, different blend. It would probably all be dressed very nicely. Some types of, you know, melted butters, you know, poured on top, you know, things like that.
We out here making me hungry.
That's it. I'm starving now.
I think for Rowan, as everyone's handing things out, there is like a thing of rations there, and she's making little bundles for everybody as everyone's talking about their food, to make sure they all go in everyone's packs, but that's not what she's making everyone have.
Okay.
What she's really focused on, because she's from Austin Vale, so that is more coastal, so there is, again, like fish, but I think there's also like a lot of chicken and like you know, domesticated animal food there, but I feel like, you know, they would have like, you know, venison, and they would have like, you know, fancier, like they had like pheasants to eat instead
Yeah.
of chicken and things like that. So it's a lot of
Quail
stuff like
eggs.
that. Yeah, quail eggs instead of just eggs and sort. But also I think there's little things in there that show that she didn't always eat with her family. There's dandelion honey muffins that the cook used to make from out in the field. She'd go out in the fields nearby and get that and make that herself. So Rowan would sneak those. Things like that.
Cool. Okay. So you guys spend a good, couple of hours probably just enjoying this meal. You seem to be able to, there's enough food at this table. Basically, a 5 full meals worth of food for each person have appeared. So there is more food than you guys should feasibly possibly be able to consume, but you guys don't feel like you're becoming uncomfortably full. Something magical is going on here that you're able to eat and and not become you don't end the meal oh. You eat this meal, you feel revitalized, you feel fresh, you feel most importantly, you feel like you have been imparted with a deep sense of wisdom. And as you guys wrap up and begin to you're ready to leave, Archmage Fieri and his masked associate come back into the room. And Archmage Fieri looks around at you guys and he says, "What did you think?"
It was very good. How did you...
Illusion magic. And I smile at the bartender.
You look at the bartender. Archmage Fury sees you look at the bartender, and then he looks at the bartender, and he kind of smiles, and he says, "I am a pretty accomplished chef, and I'm a fairly competent spellcaster, but I'm also an honest guy. A large part of this experience is beyond me. What you experienced is thanks to my associate here." And the guy in the mask, he goes, "The abilities that I possess are innate to the type of being that I am. There are few of me remaining, few of my kind remaining in this world. And given the choice between the existence that most of my kind choose, living on the outskirts of civilizations and preying on mortal kind for the sustenance they need to prolong their existence, I have chosen a more symbiotic relationship. For every measure of experience, sustenance that I have given you, I will gain something in return, as was stated to you in the beginning of the experience. There is a price to pay for this experience, and it is not in coin. I can promise you that the cost to you will bring you no harm, and I can assure you that it will allow me to live in a world that progressively makes that a difficulty for my kind.
What we saw, what we experienced, we're not going to forget that. You
No.
didn't, that's not taken.
No. What you saw was created by a combination of my power and your intellect to a degree, but your imagination, It is difficult for one of my kind to describe the innate quality that your kind possess. It is foreign to me, but it is powerful, and I can tap into it to allow you to be the conduits through which your experiences were created. Those memories, those experiences, those are yours, and they are as true as you wish them to be. They are different for everyone.
I look at Nimue because I feel like we're both like we want to ask something, but we're not sure. It's like,
But
oh,
I think it's just like when he admits this to us, I think Nimue's like trying to study this guy. He has his mask back on, right?
Yes.
No, I think Nimue. She rolled high. She's gonna bite her tongue. She's gonna control the impulse control, and be like she was gonna ask something probably too personal, too rude. So she's like, "Okay, I'll take that at face value," and she'll kind of like just sit back, and then she'll ask something else instead, and she'll like, "So can we take any of this to go?"
Yes.
Right. I start filling this shit up.
The Archmage says, I will leave you all to this next part. I'll be in the front room. Feel free to stop by and say hey on your way out. Everybody does get complimentary cheddar bacon biscuits to take with them as they leave. I can hook you up with those. Those are 100% me, baby. But this process is none of my business, so I will excuse myself from the room and see to my other customers. And another pizzazz of bacon bits, he disappears again.
Bacon all over the floor now.
Yeah, there definitely is. It's just like littered.
There's just crunching as we walk out the door.
You waste all these bacon bits.
I know. No, I'm totally loading up, especially on Sela's stuff, because I feel like seeing her light up like that, I feel like she would prioritize getting enough of Sela's versus even her own.
Okay.
Since we're heading back to the boat, I would start thinking about what would keep best on the boat.
Okay.
As we pack stuff up, since like our next step is basically to go back.
So you sort of take things to go with you. The masked individual says, very well. I would like to ask that feel free to speak of the experience you had here in whatever degree of specificity or vagueness you so desire. The wondrousness of this experience does nothing but help the reputation of my friend and my protector's establishment here. But I would implore that you keep elements of my nature and my involvement a well-guarded secret. I cannot force you to do this, but it would be perilous for me were word of my nature to become too widespread. Better to allow the mythos of the all-powerful Archmage Fieri to continue to pervade the land than for my own involvement to be too widely known.
That's fair. I can respect that.
He says, "This is the part that becomes sometimes unpleasant. The payment that I will require is from each of you a secret. Trust that this secret will be shared with me and me alone. Your compatriots even will not be privy to it, and the information, by no means mortal or immortal, may ever be pried from my person." Kind of like looks and waits to see if it, like, see what anybody is gonna do about this. He seems to be. He has no facial expression because he's like got a mask for a face, but he seems to be waiting. You have a feeling that, like, while maybe this is not always the specific ask, you feel like it is always the ask is always something that people generally like. He is expecting people to fight him on, so he's just waiting to give you guys time to like process.
I think of something.
And to think of secrets.
What's a secret? Oh God.
He looks at you and he goes, "It does not have to be anything earth-shattering. It can be extremely, extremely small. The size or the impact on the world at large are irrelevant to my purposes. It need only be something personal to yourself, shared directly with me."
Is the secret that's like secret to everybody in the world, or just like select people?
He says, "No. It could be that." He says, "It could be that you were the one who ate the last apple out of the pantry and didn't tell anyone." Says the consequence, the impact of the secret is of no consequence to me. It is merely something that you have not shared with anyone that I ask that you share with me. That is the value in it for myself." He says, "If you have no questions on the matter, we may begin."
She's literally wrecking her brain right now.
So what I'm gonna do here, we're gonna go one at a time. The person who's gonna have their character tell this guy their secret or have their interaction with him is going to do so in private. So I'm gonna ask everybody else to take their headphones off as each person tells me whatever they're gonna tell me.
Oh no! I guess
Oh, no.
I'll have to never
You'll have
watch
to-
stream back
You'll have to
again.
never watch this honor system. I'll give you one of these when it's safe to put your headsets back on. Does anybody want to volunteer to be the first one to offer their secret?
I have something if nobody else has.
I don't
Okay.
have anything.
Murderbeard has
I'm
something, so
I'm
if the
thinking
rest of you
something.
would please honor system, not listen to stream, and take your headphones out, I will give you this
You
when
guys
it
are
is
on-
safe to come back.
Okay, I will deafen myself.
Okay, I'm going to assume that everybody is deafened. They appear to be deafened Brittany's not, but her headset is off. Oh, hang on. We have to tell this to Victoria.
Hello. What?
Hey, okay. Bring you up to speed real quick. You guys enjoyed your meal. It was a heartfelt bonding experience. The masked guy. So it turns out Archmage Fieri is like a cook and a wizard, but like kind of a normal wizard. The sort of big power behind this establishment and behind the experience that you had is the guy in the mask. The guy in the mask has explained to you guys that he is essentially... he is not like a person, so to speak. He hasn't really explained what he is. But he is... he essentially said that, like, this exchange that he offers that, like, helps build Archmage Fieri's, like, reputation in this restaurant and this experience that he can give to people in exchange for, like, what he will ask for back from it, essentially, like, keeps him alive and is like his less harmful, is a non-harmful symbiotic alternative to what those of his kind that still live generally do, which is to, like, hide in the wilds and harm people deeply. So he basically has said, like, you know, they said at the beginning, like, there is going to be a non-conventional payment asked at the end of this that you all agreed to. What he has asked for from each of you is a secret. So what we're in the process of right now, so if you will notice, Michael, Christy, and Brittany all have their headphones off or muted, because we were just about to start the process of this. He has asked everybody to tell him a secret. It does not matter how big or how small, it only matters that it is like a little nugget of information that only they know that they are sharing with him. He's assured them that, like, it will never by any powers, mortal or otherwise, be, like, extracted from him. It is merely the telling of the secret from them to him that is important. So Murderbeard was about to, like, deliver a secret to him, so I have had everybody, like, take off their headphones. The signal for when... I'm not going to do it because they're going to put their headphones back on, but the signal for when it's safe to put them back on is I'll hold up my hand and, like, flex my fingers in and out, like, open and close my hand. So
Okay.
if you would not mind doing that, I'll have him do his thing, and then when
No,
we
I'm
come
gonna stay
back,
here and listen.
we can have Sela, like, whatever reaction Sela wants to have, you know, like, we can play that at then. All right.
Okay.
So if you mute or take your headphones off or whatever. All right, so she's muted. So what basically happens is, as you, like, kind of step forward that you're ready to go, he snaps his fingers, and the other three, like, they can't hear all of a sudden. And you are essentially functionally alone with this individual. And he says, yes.
Well, for as much as I make fun of them, there is a bit of jealousy because Thyxus can pull those leather pants off, and I don't think I could with my tiny little dwarf legs.
Okay. He kind of, like, looks at you for a moment, and he goes...
I give him a lot of shit about the pants.
He says, you are covetous of the way that your compatriot Thyxus looks in leather pants.
That's a weird way of putting it.
He says, I believe I am merely restating what you have shared with me. In any event, it is acceptable. I thank you for this secret. Rest assured, it will stay with me. No one else. Forever.
Good, because I never hear the end of it.
He smiles, and he snaps his fingers again. Everybody unmuted. Everybody can hear again. Victoria can't. She's not looking. Victoria.
Please do me last. My character has no secrets. I have to think
That's
of something.
That's fine. So Murderbeard kind of delivers something. The rest of them got the chance to, like, challenge this dude or question him in ways that, you know, like, they didn't really have much. Is there anything that like Sela wants to like ask or anything like that before we continue with this?
Did anyone
Murderbeard,
a-
like, so what happens, by the way, is he snapped his fingers and all of you guys became, like, completely deaf and blind for, like, 30 seconds, and then, like, your senses returned, and Murderbeard, I don't know, how is Murderbeard, like, looking and acting when they, like, come back to it?
No different.
Murderbeard is stone-faced. This guy's face is a mask, so he literally has no expression. He turns back and he says to you guys, very well, who would like to go next? And I will give, like, Sealy, you can have a chance to, like, come at this guy if you'd like to.
Well, did anyone ask him, like, what his freaking purpose is? Like, I understand that he's trying to survive to do this, but, what are his end goals? Did anyone ask that?
Nimue and Rowan had a moment of, like, let's not be rude. Like, we were looking at each other like, oh, like...
Nimue literally just barely did the save to, like, control her impulse control to being very, like...
Be like, what the fuck are you? Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you? So you saw...
No,
him,
you know Scylla
But
doesn't
Scylla-
have that.
Yeah, this is your
Scylla has
territory, not
no
ours.
impulse control.
So, yeah, Scylla would have asked, like, so what is your plan? You just exist here sucking this sustenance from people? What is the end goal? To just survive?
Is survival not a worthy goal?
It is, but most people have goals beyond that, at least in my experience. So I would like to understand what your goal is with all of this.
I come from a place between places that is long and slow dying. As it fades, many of my kind have been forced to flee here to the physical world. It is not a place that we are meant to exist permanently, and it taxes us. Slowly we lose what we are the longer we are here until we are nothing. But the alternative is to try and stay in the ever-crumbling pieces of the place that was our home. And the fate that resides us there is, in my opinion, worse than oblivion.
So you are a refugee.
That is a much more concise way to put it than how I just phrased it. Yes, that is what I will use from now on. I am a refugee. My goal, in the long term, besides survival and sustenance, and to do so in a way that does not bring malicious harm to the native people of this realm, is to assist my very dear friend, the Archmage. This restaurant, this culinary pursuit is his passion and his dream. He is my protector in a sense. He is my friend, and I care very much that his pursuits are successful. I am able to survive. I am able to exist here. I am able to do so while minimizing harm to all of your kind, and I am able to help him succeed. Those are my goals.
I respect that. Continue.
He kind of nods and he says, in that case, is there anyone who is ready to go next?
You know what? I might have a secret. I might have thought of a secret.
All right.
I think I have something in mind for you.
He nods and he again snaps his fingers. The rest of you, besides Sela, go deaf and blind. And he.
So he was asking us for a secret, right? Like I'm
A
confirming
secret,
that is.
literally any secret. The example that he gave is that like you ate the. He's like it could be as simple as like you ate the last apple out of the pantry. Like it literally does not have to have any significance, or it can be like your deepest darkest secret. Like it doesn't matter to him the scope. It just matters like that it is a piece of information that is personal only to you and is delivered only to him.
Okay, how do I
Everybody
want
else
to
deaf?
do
Everybody
this?
else is deaf. Okay.
Yeah.
He looks at you and he waits.
Scylla is like trying to position herself so that that as few people in the party can see her as possible.
None of them can see her, as
Okay.
they are all like they're all like
They're
this.
blind,
They're deaf
yeah.
and blind.
Okay. There is a part of me that is glad that when I fought my people for my beliefs, I lost, because it means I have the freedom to pursue my own goals. And that is not something I felt I was afforded before I left. I am happy to be exiled, even if I miss them very much.
He does a weird thing as you like kind of say this to him, and he goes, "You are happy that you lost in your battle against your people and were exiled."
In a way, yes. We are refugees too. I'm something else now.
He says, "You are finding yourself in your journey since then. You are homesick. An acceptable secret. Thank you. Rest assured that this information will stay with me and will by no means ever escape from me to another." And he snaps his fingers again and brings everybody back. So you guys all regain sight and sound. So you kind of look to Sela. What's Sela doing?
I told you she's positioning herself in a way that nobody can see her.
So you guys all gain your vision back, and Sela is like
standing in the fucking corner.
No, Rowan goes over and spins her ass around.
You know what, though? I did roll for a deception check, and I rolled a 16 minus 1, so that's a 15.
Okay.
Spinning her
So
ass around.
She's pretty, like, normal.
She's got it
expression.
together. Yeah. You don't like spin Sela around and she's like you turn Sela around and she's got her normal Sela face on. She just was like positioned in a weird place in the room when you guys got your sight back. Okay. The individual at the room, in the room with you with the mask, he kind of looks, Rowan, Nimue, Thixus, he looks at the three of you and he says, the three of you now. Perhaps one of you would like to go next.
Michael, did you want to? I saw your hand up earlier.
We'll go.
Okay.
I
He
think I'm ready.
snaps his fingers. The rest of you go deaf and blind. Okay. You are alone now with the others immediately like go deaf and blind again. You are alone with this masked individual. He says, "Your secret."
I too have some innate abilities that growing up when I learned how to use them, I used them to charm and manipulate people into making them feel differently about me. Making them be more accepting of me. I feel bad about it. But I don't tell anybody about it.
He repeats back to you. He says, "You use magic to influence the attitudes of others towards your person. And you are morally conflicted over this. Yet it does not stop you from doing it. An adequate secret."
Yes.
He says, "Rest assured, this information will not be passed from you to me, to anyone else, mortal or otherwise, under any circumstances. The information you have given me shall never escape me to another."
Thank you.
Kind of nods. He brings everybody back. Alrighty. Rowan and Nimue.
Vibe check. Hold
Vibe
on,
check.
Thixis,
Oh yeah, vibe check on Thixis. How's
Yeah.
Thixis feeling and
Yeah.
looking?
How's he look?
No, I rolled ass.
I rolled poorly.
I also rolled ass.
9.
Oh,
I'm not
yeah,
even gonna
I
fucking
rolled
bother.
well.
He probably rolled a 1 billion.
I only rolled a
Thanks.
12.
Well,
Lexus looks great.
I rolled a 15.
I don't.
I need
What,
a real
what
one.
am I rolling against this?
No, I don't
Matt?
think-
mean, what
I think you can. I think you can choose how much you want to reveal in this situation. If Thixis looks
I mean,
smooth, cool as a cucumber, that's fine. That's totally fine.
probably the only person with those rolls that would, like, I don't know, kind of like a little maybe nervousness, probably from Murder Beard might see he's a little nervous, but the rest of them probably don't catch anything.
Okay. Rowan and Nimue turns towards you two.
I have something. Are you okay, Rowan?
I have something. I guess it's just a matter of who wants to go next.
Roll for it.
Roll for it. Lower goes? Is that what we're doing?
Go. Lower goes.
Okay.
3.
Huh?
3.
3.
Okay, I got a 15, so you go.
Nimue. He
Yep.
snaps his finger. Everyone goes deaf and blind except for Nimue. All right. They all. Everybody can't see you here again. He says, "Your secret."
When I was younger, I did something that would definitely be frowned upon from my home country. In a fit of rage and heartbreak, I went to our spiritual center island and I demanded that my spirit, my soul spirit, my twin soul, be severed from me. Obviously, that did not happen, but even asking for such a thing, I don't even know what my people would think.
Pauses for a moment as he takes this in. He says, "In your youth, in a moment of weakness, you attempted to sever a spirit from your person. You harbor guilt over this." He nods. He
Not
says-
at first, but now I understand.
He kind of looks at you and he says, "My statement was rhetorical."
Ah.
And he says, "Acceptable. Thank you. Rest assured that this information has been shared from you to me, and by no means mundane or mystical can this information ever be removed from my person to another being of any type. Your information shall never be shared by myself with another." He nods at you, and he brings everybody back.
Vibe check on
Vibe
him,
check.
Yeah. We're just vibe checking.
I still
Natural
rolled the
20. That's a
Ooh.
24.
I rolled horrible.
And
Lexus, what'd you roll?
I chose not to.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
because he knew he was gonna roll bad.
That's part of it.
I think this is something you've probably noticed, like, from the beginning, like, after she had that moment at the table with, like, her traditional foods and stuff. She was already misty-eyed from then. She is holding it in really well, but you do see a little bit of a tear on the corner of her eye, but it's not even, like...
It comes down like this far, and then she flexes, and it like sucks.
She
And
like
it comes
sucks
back
it
up?
back in.
Yeah. And it goes back up.
Yeah, there's a flicker of sadness.
Okay.
Okay.
Rowan, the masked individual, turns to you and says, "You were the final one? Are you prepared?"
I am.
Very well. He deafens and blinds everyone. Your secret.
When I was little, there were servants in my family's household. And they, of course, had families of their own. There was a servant boy named Nico that I liked a lot. I got along with very well. My siblings teased that I had a crush on him. Never sure if I actually did or not, but maybe I did. My mother heard this, and she sent the family away, and then punished me for having feeling for somebody lowborn. And it was at that point that I realized that love does nothing but hurt people, and I wanted nothing to do with it, and I wouldn't risk it ever again.
He takes this in for a moment, and he repeats back to you. Your mother extracted a cruelty upon a young boy and his family when you were a child, fearing a burgeoning romantic connection between you and this child. For this you blame yourself and have vowed against emotional attachment of the romantic variety.
Of the romantic variety, yes.
He nods and he says, "A more than acceptable secret."
I wasn't sure what level you needed, but it was also something that I felt somebody should know, since I could never speak to anyone else about it. Somebody should know why I keep everyone at a distance.
He says, "Rest assured, this information relayed from you to me cannot be extracted by any means, mortal or otherwise. What you have shared shall never be shared by myself with another." And he raises his hand to snap his fingers, and he stops for a second, and he says, "It is not my place nor my policy to offer opinion or critique on secrets shared to me, but affairs of the heart are of particular closeness to my people. It is my opinion and my opinion only that the burden that you carry with you has been misplaced perpetrator of the evil in this sense was not you. You are suffering self-inflicted shackles for crimes committed by your mother.
Isn't every child in the world suffering for something that their parents did?
That is not something that I am equipped to answer. My concept of parenthood is significantly different than your own, I think. It was inappropriate of me to offer that bit of personal insight. I will offer no further.
It was not inappropriate, it was appreciated. As I said, I have shared this with no one, and there's no one that I felt I could.
Rest assured, it will stay in confidence. Your secret is acceptable. And he brings everybody back.
Vibe check. I rolled a 19.
Check.
Oh my god.
I literally pre-rolled it as soon as I deafened because I knew it was gonna happen.
6.
It's fine. It's fine.
Who rolled
That
a
was,
somebody rolled a 19?
I rolled a dirty
Scylla.
20 and Stila
19
rolled a
is right.
19.
Marty, what'd you say?
6.
6. Okay. Scylla and Nimue. Rowan looks fine. The masked guy looks at her for like an extra half a second before he turns to the rest of you and goes, "Your payments have all been more than acceptable. I thank you for the civility of our discourse, and I thank you in advance for your discretion on the nature of my role within the Archmage's establishment. This concludes the transaction agreed upon at the beginning of our interaction. I have received payment as was due. You have received your experience, and now, per our agreement, I fully release that to you." And he gestures to you as he does, and the full weight of everything that has happened and that you have experienced over this evening floods into you. And all 5 of you level up.
Oh.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Oh no. Level 8?
Level 8.
Wow.
I can fly now.
Sela says in character in this room.
I'm pretty sure.
And begins to float from the ground.
She just takes off.
Oh man.
What mean for me? Oh my god.
Oh my god, yeah, it's 8th level. Oh my. Yes. Bro, wait, what are my stats though?
I don't get anything nifty other than abilities. Okay, that's fine. It's fine, it's fine.
I get to roll D6.
I guess we'll give everybody a minute to look at their new shiny abilities.
I don't get anything new shiny, so I'm good. Let's go.
Alrighty.
I'm done. I transcend. I have 20 wisdom now.
I transcend.
My third eye fucking is taped open.
Very good. Okay. So you guys will all. It's not gonna be super relevant, as we're gonna kind of do tying up loose ends type of thing. You're not gonna get into a fight that you're gonna need any of this yet. But for over the course of next session, you guys all raise to level 8 after the being shown the elemental plane of flavor and its mystical messages about food and its significance to your culture and interpersonal relationships has transcended you guys up to a new level of power. So with that, the masked individual kind of gives you guys a little bit of a bow, turns and leaves this back room, and goes and retakes their position at the bar. and I will turn the table back over to you guys.
Nimue, do you think he was something kind of like what you have?
I thought about that. It's a potentiality. He could be some sort of foreign spirit. Alien in nature, I'm not sure. But he definitely has things beyond at least me. I'm not sure of other lunar warriors in the past, but I also had that thought cross my mind, yes.
So,
How do you guys think these secrets sustain them?
I don't know.
I think secrets are a part of each of us, no matter how big or small. It's still something you choose for yourself.
and I think that there are things beyond this world that operate very differently from us. And it is not worth trying to understand how it works. Simply recognizing that it is good enough.
I don't think it's a bad thing. At least not from him. He made his choice too.
You
As he
like
said, be
really
here.
like shook that guy though.
Yes, why did he stare at you for so much longer?
You'll have to ask him.
Well, we can't. He would never tell us.
Do not be facetious.
Look, unless y'all are gonna start telling me what you said, we're not starting with me.
I would tell you what I said, if you would tell me what you said. But would you?
We all share. We can share.
I mean,
That's up
you
to
guys
everybody
are,
in
like,
the room.
my other family, so I don't mind sharing. It's not. But I won't force you.
I don't mind sharing so much, just that it didn't seem relevant to our purposes.
That's fair. Just curious that like you specifically shook him though.
Couldn't it just be that he was a little bit extra full at the end since you all went first and it was the last one?
He was too full.
It's too full.
That's your reason?
Maybe. I don't know. We don't know what he is. You ask the guy.
I don't think he'd tell me even if I asked.
No, he seems very good at his job.
I wonder what will happen to him if we tell each other the secrets that we just told him.
Maybe we should ask so we don't know that
Doesn't
we're outright
know
hurting
it.
him later on.
Like we just take the food back from his.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna go find him and ask that exact question.
Yeah,
You
that
go-
is a
you
great
go out-
question. What if the secret is no longer a secret?
Yeah,
You go out to the bar and you ask him that.
I'm
and
concerned
he's-
that it's gonna hurt him.
He says, no, the energy transaction is complete. He says, it is not unheard of that it would not be the first time I asked this specific request to a group of diners at the restaurant. Would also not be the first instance where individuals chose then to share those secrets with one another after the experience was over. In fact, the catharsis of such is intensely gratifying to me.
Okay.
I'm not gonna accidentally like force him to vomit all our secrets by telling each other.
You're not gonna get sick.
Whenever he
in
tells
the
the
middle
secret,
of
he
the
goes
night. You don't get sick in the middle of the night from all of us
He
talking.
says, no, I will not get indigestion from the sharing of your secrets.
Good to know.
I don't trust you fuckers to tell me the secret.
Hard time telling the secret with you two idiots over here going in the corner the whole time. I had to stare directly at Matt.
You
the
took a
whole
long
time.
time. They had to entertain themselves.
They started the second I started
They did
talking.
start immediately.
Don't give me that.
But you were the last one. They had already had to occupy themselves for a very long time.
Well,
Anyway.
that was a very heavy experience after a very heavy meal on a very emotionally heavy day. So,
Who
perhaps
wants to get fucked up?
Is the plan to go drinking and tell all of our secrets to each other? Is that Murder Beer's new next plan?
I mean,
I don't
I'm
know.
down.
do you want to fly?
I'm not sure I like the
Is
way
that
you're
even a
smiling about
question?
that.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yes.
I don't know how I
You're
feel
not-
about that smile though.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
you're
wait.
not planning to just throw me,
Yeah,
are you?
you're not. That was my question. They're just gonna throw somebody, right?
No, I have been thinking a lot of the giant eagles that we saw at the reserve, the zoo you call it. And after we fed the bartender, I had a realization. A
Still found it.
transcendence, if you will.
Stella found her happy thought, and now she
As
can
if
fly.
I leveled up.
The bartender goes, "Do not turn into a giant bird inside the restaurant, please."
You cannot stop me from doing it.
Archmage Fury goes like, I don't know, like, on one hand, health and safety code violations. On the other hand, giant bird inside the restaurant is pretty metal.
He also probably has ways of stopping you from doing it.
Also, couldn't we just do it outside to attract people to the restaurant for them, and then we're not hitting the ceiling as we're trying to get out the door?
I mean, I'm not the boss of anybody. I'm just here to make grease-covered hamburgers.
I feel like I'm gonna hit the
Aren't you the
ceiling
boss
or
of
the
all
window.
these people, though?
Well, no, I'm the boss of me, and that guy, sort of. Everybody else here is a customer. I'm not the boss of any of them.
I assumed you had a bigger staff than that. I apologize.
No, I'm super fucking magical. I don't need this. Think I need to hire busboys when I can do this? And he just goes like, pew! And he like prestidigitates a bunch of plates clean on some like...
He says, well, while that is a good point, did you ever think that you could be creating jobs in the city? Give
He's
back
like,
to your community.
This is getting dangerously close to politics. And I, if you haven't noticed... Hang on. Have hair that looks like this, which means... I don't want to talk about that.
Why don't we
Go outside. at least.
go and clear the grease out of our systems? I think strong, high-proof alcohol is the only thing that will cleanse my stomach at this point.
Chat is correct. I want our cheddar bacon biscuits.
He
Here
gives
we
you your
go.
cheddar
We're gonna
bacon
need them
biscuits.
for-
You each get a doggy bag containing 1d4 cheddar biscuits. You can roll the 1d4 to see how many your doggy bag has. Those cheddar biscuits.
Is it possible, Archmage Fieri, is it possible to order a bunch of these to be delivered somewhere?
Says no, because they're magic. And if I give you more than the ones that I'm going to give you now, it is going to cause problems. Wait, hang on. Are you talking about having me deliver a bunch of biscuits to a dude's apartment unannounced as a joke? Because if so, I will do that, no questions asked.
I was thinking maybe delivering to the crew of our ship, but now that you said that,
I like that better, yes.
Well, if we get back to the crew quickly,
hey, we should send it to those weird wizard people that we met
Oh my
the other
God,
day.
Yes.
oh, the collective of the arcane eye with the
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, we should send our numbers with that too.
otherwise they will think it's poisoned. Let's do that.
That one orc looks like he could definitely put away a lot of biscuits.
I don't know what any of that means, but I will send some biscuits to some people if you want me to. But
I will
these are
make-
your
I will fill
biscuits,
out
and
the
he gives you guys biscuits.
I will fill out
So
whatever.
you guys
orders.
each.
Yeah, it's 28 Dorset. No, that's
Nope,
the
it's
wrong
not.
city.
They definitely moved.
Whatever their address is now.
I will.
We have it.
You have it.
Does
Sort of.
you need us to pay for that, or
He's like, It's fine. They're magic biscuits.
All right. There are also some pretty magic people, so...
He's like, yeah, they might not be super impressed by these. Anyway.
One
here's your
man is
bag.
very involved in mayonnaise.
Roll a
He's gonna love
fucking
it.
D4 to see how many biscuits you get.
I get 2.
We have to
I get
move on
3.
from this bit.
I had 2.
I got... Oh, that was a D6. Hold on. I rolled the wrong die.
Rolls a
I was gonna say, I get
D4,
5.
biscuits.
He gets he gets like the 10-pack chicken nuggets that they threw an 11th into.
I get 3.
Okay, you all get 3, or whatever your number of biscuits was. Those biscuits will keep forever. They have so many preservatives that they do not go bad. Upon consumption, they work like a potion of healing.
Oh.
So you get
Just a regular potion of healing?
just a standard potion of healing. So you can mark that. You can add X number of potions of healing to your pack. You can make a special note and you can say that you have biscuits of healing. Whatever your heart
Cheddar
tells you.
bacon biscuits of healing.
Cheddar bacon biscuits of healing.
Healing is what I did.
They can be made gluten-free or vegan or both upon request of any particular individual if you would like.
Mine are made with grubs in them
Okay,
instead of
yours
beef.
are whatever the term. Vegan is probably not appropriate.
Insectarian? I don't know.
Insectarian.
I mean, Scylla eats meat. Scylla eats
insectarian
meat. She just
I'm
likes
just saying
grubs.
the option is available if Archmage Fury is inclusive and considerate to people's dietary restrictions. So if anybody needs special considerations, he can absolutely make you magical healing biscuits that will do so.
All right. 3 cheddar bacon biscuits of healing added to...
Alrighty, cool. So you guys do that. You arrange whatever you need to arrange. He's just gonna mail a bunch of biscuits to some wizards that you met one time. We'll resolve that. I'm gonna make a note so I remember.
We send our numbers too
Okay.
in the order notes.
The order notes.
Yeah.
He's like,
yeah,
he's like, oh, actually, I've been meaning to try out the new spell to send these to them. It's a new spell that I created called DoorDash. It's where I animate a door, and you just give it food, and it just runs at a pretty concerning speed from wherever you are to wherever you tell it to bring the food.
Similar idea that I had. You put the food in a catapult, and then you fire it in the direction. I call it Uber Eats.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yes.
I'm removing myself from the premises now.
Gotta get really accurate with the catapult.
I would like to deafen myself again.
I blind myself manually.
I'd like to deafen myself permanently.
All right, you guys bid adieu to Archmage Fury and his compatriot who you never asked the name of the whole time you talked to him.
Hey, what was that guy's name?
Oh, it's too late now. Fuck you. You had your chance.
Don't make me turn into a giant eagle and shit on the
The
table.
mask guy leans out of the building and he goes, "My name is Core."
Goodbye, Core.
Peace.
Listen, you pirates, what are we doing? We had our meeting. What plans do we have next? I feel as though we have no plans.
We have to go back to the crew.
Back to Noporia.
Where is whatever that woman's name was? Does she take us
Rashta?
back? Sure. I
one
did
who
not
we
bother
brought
to
with
learn
us?
it. Yes.
She's staying here. I think we were to be teleported back through,
We probably have to go find Riker for teleport.
or somebody. Yeah. Or Torian, or any
Are
of them.
we getting drunk?
I prefer
first
not to
then
find Torian.
teleporting, or just teleporting and getting the drunk on our ship?
That's up to you guys, really.
Option C, both.
Oh, pre-game in the city.
Yeah, pre-game in the city, then teleport back to the ship.
We go get drunk in the hotel bar. I don't know if they have a bar. We go get drunk somewhere.
Okay.
Ah, shit! This port has a Chili's to go.
It's an airport TGI Fridays right near the teleportation terminal.
There you go. Okay. So you guys are pretty much you're ready to depart here. So your plan is basically just like get drunk as hell overnight and then like teleport back to the ship in the morning, I guess.
Did we visit the place that Rowan wanted to go to, like the healing area?
Yeah, that
Yes.
was. Yeah, that
That
was when I
where you
talked.
That was where you
Guy.
talked to Sanra Darket.
Oh right, yeah, when we fucking clocked that motherfucker.
I
in
do
2
have to go back.
seconds.
I have to go back to the library to get the book list that I want. So I'm gonna do that before we go get smashed.
Just
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Who else needs to go to the library?
I'll go.
I mean, I'm waiting for my decoded book to be
Yeah.
returned, and I'm also waiting for my my
Blood
my
vial.
syringe liquid vial
Yeah,
thingy.
they set Thyxus. They
Chemical
set
warfare.
Thyxus has to pick up his Bloodwell vial from.
That's it. That Bloodwell vial. That's
From
it.
somebody with the surname Molyneux, who is the it has something to do with the Relic Hunters Hall. Rowan has to go to the library to get her book list picked up. You guys are nothing really you have to do, but the orcs are getting all the orcs stuff together to get
Yeah, I was
going.
gonna say, I think Nimue wanted to talk to someone about getting them teleportation as well, access to teleportation.
Yep. That's probably a library thing.
Okay.
So my question still stands. Who needs to go to the library? Not wants to go to the library, but needs to go. I turn into a giant eagle and I grab both of them and I
Hell
fly.
yeah.
Like, this is fucked. He raised his hand too late. Sorry, man.
Can I reaction grab Thixus? With his hand going up
I
in
don't
the
know
air?
if I'm strong enough for that. I have a strength of 16.
Like
as a
just cast
giant eagle.
reduce. Like just cast reduce.
I could. Yeah.
Drop that from the sky.
Oh my god, tiny. Okay, we put tiny Thixus. Tiny Thixus.
Well, reduce only lasts for 1 minute, so how long will it take her to fly me there?
If I have a flying speed of 80 feet and I'm dashing the whole time with tiny Thixus, plus Rowan plus Nimue. Wait, now Murderbeard's getting left alone? I don't want to take tiny Thixus.
I was
Murderbeard's
suggesting that you
alone.
cast. I was suggesting that you cast Lyxus on
I cast
Scylla.
Thixus.
Oh yeah.
Cast
I
Thixus on Scylla.
I cast Thixus on Scylla.
I can't. Scylla now has, the bird is wearing leather pants.
That's the...
It makes me more aerodynamic. My flying speed increases to 100.
Yeah, she's faster now because of the leather
Okay.
pants.
I cast Lyxus. That's a t-shirt.
I guess. I think I cast Thixus. Thixus is what when Thixus is in a bar and he's working himself up to go talk to a lady. That's what he says to himself. He goes
Yes, Lyxus.
That's
cast
right.
Thixus, here I come, and he goes and tries to chat up somebody at a
Oh,
bar.
should we get Thixus completely trashed at the next bar?
Yeah, Thixus is
Fly me
definitely a
faster,
lightweight.
tiny Thixus. Thank you for that one, chat.
Amazing.
Fly me faster, tiny Thixus is quite good.
Yeah. I grab whoever the fuck I can grab, and I'm flying. Everyone else can figure their shit out. Y'all have feet.
We're very much in montage narrative overview mode of wrap up stuff. So it happened. It's fine. It happens. If you guys want to do tiny person carrying shenanigans, we can make a roll of some sorts.
Actually, I think
that's up to
it would be cooler. I think she transforms into this bird, takes off, grabbing those two. And immediately upon seeing that and missing my moment, I will cast Disguise Self and look like Sela and start to walk towards the library.
yes.
Oh no, I'm
Perfect.
getting played. This is what I do on Wednesdays.
Perfect.
I'm on the receiving end now. No.
All right, Murderbeard, what are you doing? I guess is the question here. Sela
Oh,
turns
and
into
I-
a giant
and I,
eagle.
uh,
She grabs Rowan and Nimue and
Here's-
flies off. Thixus turns into Sela and just
Here's
walks
the thing,
away.
he's a slightly shorter.
Matt, I did roll
Not all
on our list. I did roll Wild Magic Surge when I casted that.
No. Okay. Go ahead and roll that wild magic.
He fireballs himself just to have turned into a slightly shorter version of Scylla. I'm gonna like lose my mind.
It would be fantastic, wouldn't it?
Or if those flumps come back.
Or the flumps come back. Let's see what I roll. I don't have my list up. That's an 11.
Okay, an 11 on the wild magic table. Roll d10.
Oh boy. I put it away. A 1.
You... I don't think you notice a difference. You turned into Scylla successfully.
Okay.
You going to the library too? What's Murderbeard doing?
Do I notice anything different about the Hexes?
Make a perception check.
Give me a 19 plus things. I think
He
it's
is
3.
exactly shorter than the real Scylla by the amount limited by his disguise self spell plus 1 inch.
Oh my god,
He shrunk by 1 inch because of his wild magic. Fun fact though, you stay shrunk by 1 inch even when you revert back. You are now 1 inch shorter forever.
Okay, listed on my character sheet.
Listed
On my character sheet. I realized I was 6'1". I'm perfect 6 foot.
You're a 6 foot.
yeah.
So you theoretically could have gotten as big as 7'1". Now you can only get as big as 7 foot. So you are shorter than Scylla by whatever the difference. She's like 7 what?
She's 7'5".
She's 7'5".
You're like
So
a
you
head
would-
shorter than her.
So you were like he grows up to like maybe like 5 inches shorter than Scylla, and then like a half a second later he gets exactly 1 inch shorter than that. That's what happens.
And I just kind of like walk away. I don't even bat an eye.
You know, it'll be easier to clear doors now with the horns.
God, can you imagine if Thyxis had gotten almost a foot shorter?
That would have been freaking incredible. Tiny Thyxis.
All right, so
That's not what I meant by wanting baby Thyxus flashbacks forever earlier. Let's be fair.
let me put this question to the group: does anybody feel that they need like a role played out scene of the stuff that they have still to do here? Okay. So then, Thyxis, there is one scene that I will I'm gonna enforce like a role play. We'll get to that, but like. Thyxis, you're able to gather your Bloodwell vial, no problem. They have one for you at the Relic Hunters Hall. The person turns out to be the quartermaster for the Relic Hunters. You guys learn a little bit about the way that like the Relic Hunters Guild works within the Ordinum Libra is basically like there's a dude who is like they call him the Marksman, and he hands out job assignments for certified relic hunters to like do jobs and earn marks, and then they can use those marks to buy better jobs, like tips, leads, intel, and stuff like that, or buy requisition equipment from this quartermaster, who has been instructed basically just to give you one of these items. If they give you the Bloodwell vial, you now have that.
Okay.
Rowan, you're able to get your book list handled, no problem. Nimue, you find like with the light that when you kind of go to the library, teleportation and stuff, all that stuff is actually already being handled. Sandra Darquette is like on top of that, is taking care of that. They're gonna be like ready to go when you guys are, basically tomorrow. Scylla and Murderbeard, you guys don't have anything like specific that you're kind of wrapping up in the city, right?
Glowering at people.
Glowering at people generally. Fair enough.
As a giant eagle. I stand outside and I just scream at people if they
Sure.
come too close.
Okay. Then the chores portion of the evening happens. Then the planned getting drunk as hell portion of the evening, I assume, happens. Why don't all of you who are partaking, I guess, with abandon, can go ahead and roll me a Constitution saving throw. If you have the sense of mind that you are, controlling yourself, you can forego this roll if you'd like to.
I need to roll to see if Scylla's gonna do that because it's been a very emotional time here in the city and she actually might do it. Yup. Okay.
I would like to add to this roll. Last time, a chat bought me a Bardic Inspiration.
Okay.
So I'd like to add my Bardic Inspiration to this.
Cool. Yeah.
How bad was your roll,
Oh, no.
Michael?
I didn't roll yet. I'm just doing it in advance. And I'm glad I did.
I got a 15.
I got a 17.
Murderbeard, how you doing?
Murderbeard had a natural 20, making it a 23.
I got a
I had a-
19.
I had a 13 total.
Okay.
Oh, honey.
So, you guys go out for a night of drinking and revelry in the city. At some point, you all get quite drunk. At some point, you actually end up back at Dungeons, Diamonds, and Delves, where Core serves you guys drinks in non-Euclidean glasses, which is kind of a thing in and of itself. He as payment for those drinks, that time he asks you to pay him a compliment. The night kind of passes in sort of a blur. The rest of you kind of wake up back in your hotel, safe and sound, no terrible issues. The worst thing, Thixis, is that you are sort of you're kind of suffering from a hangover a little bit. So you will not benefit from a long rest over last night. So you'll take a level of exhaustion from your previous nights here that you'll have to sleep off another night successfully. The rest of you,
I would just like
okay.
to say that the compliment that Scylla pays him is that your face hole is very spooky.
okay. he accepts this as a suitable compliment.
Question. Because with lay on hands, if I drop a certain amount, I can cure a disease or neutralize a poison affecting the creature. If I do that, does that help Thixis with the hangover and give him his?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess the question is, Thixis, do you let on that you're real hungover, even though everybody else seems to be okay, or are you trying to conceal it?
Thixis probably isn't terribly hungover, but he makes it out to be that way.
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah,
dramatic.
you can blow 5 points of lay on hands to
Is
get
that-
the Thixis as a hangover.
I'm concerned since he was the drunkest out of all of us, and I was waiting for this moment.
Didn't drink the most out of all of us, but
No,
was
no.
the drunkest.
He is an inch shorter now, though, so his liver is slightly
That's what
smaller and not
Yeah,
able
I
to
have-
process as much alcohol.
Probably at some point in the night, you guys lost Thixis for a little while, and he was sitting
Yo,
outside,
I hate
on
those
the
drunk
curb,
people.
and I was talking to someone, and then I look over, and it's just like a pigeon, just sitting there chilling, and I was sitting there talking to it when you found me.
He's
Probably.
like, oh, shit, I thought you were Scylla this whole time.
I thought it was the druid. I don't know what to tell you guys. Okay,
Nice.
no problem. All right, so you get through all of that. You prepare to make your departure. In the sort of in the morning here, you head back to Ladry's Keep, preparing to sort of make your departure.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Sorry. Do we share secrets when we're drunk?
It's up to you.
Okay, if I roll over a 50 on a D100, no.
Here's what I'm gonna do. You guys, anybody who wants to, you can make one roll
Okay.
to see if you share your secret. You then everyone everyone will make a second roll to see if they remember hearing the secret.
Oh, good idea.
What do you want us to roll?
So anybody who would like to, so this is totally optional. You can just say no, my character did not share their secret. Anybody who
Okay.
would like to, roll me a d20. 10 or above, you don't share your secret. Below 10, you spilled the beans at some point.
11.
17.
Okay.
Like Thysus should roll with disadvantage.
I don't need
Or
to. I rolled a
doesn't matter.
2.
Stikes rolled a 2. Okay. Stikes is the only one that failed.
How'd Murderbeard do?
16.
I got a 12. It was
Okay.
almost bad,
So
and then it
Stikes
rolled
is the only one that spills the beans on this. Now here's the thing. Okay, so the other 4 of you. Now I
Yeah.
need you to make a roll a second d20.
Okay.
This one is going to be a DC 15.
I literally rolled a 15.
If you
What is
beat
this for?
if you beat 15 or above, you remember the secret in the morning. Below a 15, you do not.
I remember.
Yeah,
18.
We're just destroying Thyxus right
So
now.
Nimue does not remember.
Does
I
Nimue have to
remember.
deafen?
Nimue, please.
One
Nimue,
below. I rolled a
Nim-
14.
Nimue, please deafen.
Nimue was in the
Nimue is
bathroom
definitely-
during that
Alright.
part.
Nimue
Thyxus-
was an aggressive drunk, and she was probably fighting someone.
Flashback to last night. Thyxus is sharing his drunk secret with everybody. Nimue will not remember in the morning.
Sykes was probably on his way out the door, and he was talking to some random people, and he was probably going, "Yeah, I didn't want to tell everybody, you know, because I didn't want them to not trust me and all this. It was just something that I've been just keeping to myself for a long time. But I have these innate powers, and I use them sometimes to manipulate people into liking me. And like people don't really like me, so I have to sometimes use arcane means to just make their influence a little bit better. I do it a lot, but I don't want them not to trust me or anything because I like being a part of this group. It's like, oh, you're all right here.
Thyxus. I picked Thyxus. I'm doing, that meme of like the small girl getting lifted up by her throat by like the dude, that's a Thyxus. And I just have him lifted up at the ground so he's eye level. Thyxus.
I don't know.
Did you do this to us? Did you do this to Scylla?
No.
Did you do this to Murderbeard?
No.
Did you do this to Rowan or Nimue?
No.
I let him slide down to the ground. Then we have no problem.
But I just kind of feel bad. I don't think it's right, but sorry. I'm tired.
Well, Thysus, let me tell you this, and Murderbeard puts his hand on his shoulder and goes, I don't know why, because you're definitely not going to remember this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Sometimes you just have to trust yourself that people are gonna like you for you. And if they don't, fuck them. Who cares what those people think?
If they don't, you kill them and you eat their innards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
see,
mean,
like that's yeah. Right? She's right, Rowan?
I just hug Thyxus. Because Rowan's drunk, so she's hugging people more freely.
I feel like
Rowan
Scylla did
does a lot of
well,
hugging.
I feel like
This will
Scylla and
probably be the
Murderbeard
same
are
way.
the most... Scylla and Murderbeard are definitely the most put together solely because we both have the pirate background and we've
I
been
was gonna
doing this.
say, with my
Rowan's not
natural
a mess.
20,
Rowan's not a mess.
I feel like Murderbeard has been putting it away in gallons, and there's no difference.
No, Rowan's not messy. She just actually will hug people when she's drunk.
Alrighty. Well,
I say
Vax.
something, I yell something in giant, and then we go to the next bar.
Alrighty. With that, Nimue is safe to come back.
Nimue comes out from the bar fight that she just won.
Hell yes.
Are you?
100%.
Happy yet aggressive drunk.
Alrighty, so the next morning, y'all.
I didn't hear any of that, but just watching Michael's expression as he was yelling the
Yeah.
tail, I was like, I don't know what I'm missing, but this is brilliant just to watch.
Y'all go back to Ladrius Keep. All of your orc buds are there. Also present are some of the other folks that came here with you guys.
Like just got player inspo for his secret sadness.
There you go. Player inspiration for Thixus.
Thank you, chat. I appreciate that.
And the chat says, and Thixus starts crying when Rowan hugs him.
most definitely.
Baby.
Alrighty. So y'all head back to Ladrius Keep. There's kind of a little gaggle of folks that are gathered there. Sandra Darquette is there. Tori and Adrian is also there. Your Longtooth tribe work buddies are there with like a shit ton of supplies that they have been given in these sort of like rickshaw things that several of like the orc bulls are like prepared to kind of like pull with them when they go. Gregory is there, like has come back for from whatever he's been doing in the city while you guys have been here, and he's just sort of there. Not a poor Dazan. Aora Veshta is present. She seems to be here to kind of like see you guys off. And then several of the stewards of the Ordinal Libra are here to prepare various teleportation spells. With any of the folks sort of like in the room, what are you looking to do?
We don't see the fools.
No, they are not present currently.
I think Rowan's just checking to see who's around, but she doesn't feel the need to say anything to anybody, so.
Okay.
So let's go.
Very well then. The McCrawl comes up to you guys. Gugnak is the one with like the life debt to Nimue, right? If I remember that correctly, yeah.
Yep.
McCrawl comes up. Gugnak is with him. McCrawl is wearing his little spectacles. He approaches you guys in his sort of best common that he can muster. He says, "Thanks upon house yours, Longtooth, debt much great." And then he switches to Orcish so that like those who speak Orcish can understand him properly. And he says, "I wish to extend the deepest gratitudes of my people to you. You have done much for us, though our cultures are different. Thank you. I hope only that we may be in time to save our people."
I hope so too.
He kind of turns and he says, "I hope that you will provide Gugnak with ample opportunity to strengthen his Rukhlar. He may have disgraced himself in this life, but should he behave honorably under your service, perhaps he can redeem himself in the next."
I will see to it.
McCrawl nods, and he turns to the group of you, and back in common he says, "Longtooth, friend for Grimm's Folly, always call in need. Longtooth, come."
Same goes for you.
Gugnak says like some goodbyes to the other bulls of the Longtooth tribe as he is based on the conditions of his sort of like his debt to Nimue, is required to stay with you guys. He says his goodbyes. The other orcs kind of, go around. They prepare. They gather supplies, and the spellcasters of the Ordinum open portals that seem to be leading into like kind of the middle of nowhere. From what you can see on the other side of them as they open them up, it's just this sort of like flat, sort of like tan, arid salt flat that they open. But in the distance, you see like these tall sort of like plateaus, and the orcs of the Longtooth tribe begin to move through the portal, bringing the supplies containing the medicine for their people, a big crate full of glasses, because that was very important for some reason last session, and a few other things that like the Ordinum have kind of like sent along with them. And the last one sort of through the portal is McCrawl. He steps up to the portal. He kind of takes a step through it to the other side, and he turns around, and you kind of see the sort of like the wind of this like desert terrain behind him, sort of like blowing past him, and he kind of turns back to you, and he just puts a meaty fist like over where his heart is, and then the portal closes, and the orcs of the Longtooth tribe are gone. Tori and Idrian approaches you guys, and he says, if you are prepared to leave, we have a portal prepared for your ship, the destination to the deck of your ship. If there is any other business that you think it wise to attend to now, it is my recommendation that you do so. It is my belief that you will find yourself in inopportune position for much leisurely tasks once you return to the mission at hand.
We still need to get the translations for Thixus, yeah?
He says the cryptographers are working on that as we speak. I will ensure that that is sent directly to you upon completion.
Okay. Anything else, right?
I look around at everybody just real quick. Good?
Ready to leave. Have been ready to leave since we got here.
He nods. He kind of turns and he nods to the other stewards as they begin to prepare the spell to teleport you guys. Gregory comes like trotting up, and he says, I've got. I don't think I've got intentions to join you all back on the ship, but I once again appreciate the save, as it were, pulling me out of the drink like that. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you, and I suppose the term pirates and all the connotations that go with that really is sort of just a matter of perspective, because in my book you're good people.
Stay out of trouble.
He says, I will do my best. He says, I think I've had enough of the high seas for one lifetime. This is, I was so dehydrated and disoriented at one point before the lot of you pulled me out of the drink. I would swear I don't know what I was seeing, all sorts of things, but that's not the life for me. I think I'll keep my feet on the ground from now on.
Wait, you
Greg.
were hallucinating?
Yeah, what did you think you saw? There are strange things in the world.
He kind of shakes his head. I'm sure it were a hallucination, as I was out adrift for days then, but at one point when I thought I was sure I would have died summit. I would have sworn I saw summit come straight up from the deep, from the depths below, a glowing shape what I couldn't identify, and I done swore it went right into me chest, and well, I don't remember much after that, but it's hallucinations. I've been drinking seawater for a day and a half. It's nothing to worry about, I'm sure.
And you decided to tell us now.
I know that's on us
Okay.
because we didn't talk to him much. We left him alone. Captain, can I have the mirror really quick?
Sure.
I take the mirror and I start shaking it, yelling for Brahm.
Okay.
Fucking what?
Are you guys still in the city?
We are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I grab Gregory and I pull him into frame.
Brom, you see
What the
Gregory. He is,
Gregory, what the fuck?
Holy shit! Brom Revlock!
Oh, you guys are friends. Cool. Brahm. Okay, Gregory. Sorry, I have to interrupt you for a second. Brahm, you need to come find him. He's here in like Ladri's keep right now. He had a glowy thing. Come save him maybe from the sea. I don't know. You guys gotta come investigate this. We have to go back to our ship and start fighting. You know, the Armada. But since you guys are still here and you seem to know him, maybe you can figure this out. Okay? Before you guys go anywhere,
What?
please and thank you.
Rowan,
Yes.
it is 8 a.m. That was a lot of shit that you just threw at me.
Brahm, we were
He's-
drinking last night and it's 8 a.m. and,
And
we're fine, so
Gregory is like in the corner of the mirror around Rowan. He's like it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I had drank a bunch of seawater. I was shipwrecked. Good to know you're in the city. I definitely would like to hang out and catch up. That would be cool. But like it's no big
I
deal.
think
I'm
your
sure it's
It
fine.
is not fine. Do not.
I
say
look
that.
at I look at Gregory and I go, Gregory, you were saved by a bunch of pirates after a group of Sahagin attacked your ship, and we found a magical flag on it. I don't want to hear anything about what's possible and not possible out of you right now. And I look back at Brahm and I go, I'm sorry it's 8 a.m. We're getting ready to leave, and we have a lot of sailing to do. And I don't know what you guys are up to right now, and I'm sorry I woke you up. But you're the one holding the mirror. If you don't like it, give it to somebody in your group that you don't like.
Hey, Walter!
Okay. All right. That happens. The mirror. You just hear, "Hey, Walter," and then the mirror gets like put down on a table and it goes blank. Very good.
Man, I hope Jason is still watching.
He is. He's in chat.
What's the chat?
You put the mirror. The mirror goes down. Gregory like backs off. He's like clearly would rather deal with the fools than like risk getting eviscerated by Sela.
Yeah,
so
that's why I'm willing to do a handoff at this
he backs off. The spellcasters complete the portal. And the sort of like the teleport is prepared for the group of you to move through. As you guys head for the portal, any last stuff, or are you guys like proceeding through your portal?
Portal!
I look back and I see Samar Darket, and I hold up my magical doohickey of all the books, and I just smile and nod at him. And I
He
go
goes.
through. He's so sick of us, it's fine.
Yeah, learning. Okay. You guys begin to go through the portal.
Yeah.
All right, you go through the portal. Murderbeard. As you approach the portal, everybody roll a d20 who is not Murderbeard.
It closes before he can follow us.
Murderbeard, yes, that's how we write Murderbeard out of the session.
He gets stabbed.
Nat 20.
Okay.
So
What am I
I
rolling?
want to know things.
Just roll a straight d20.
18.
12.
14.
14. Okay. So, in highest to lowest is the order that you guys like go through the portal. So Thykes, I think you were the lowest.
I think I was low. He had a 14. I think I had 12.
Oh, you had a 12.
Yeah, I
okay.
had 12.
So Sela, you step through the portal, and as you like transition across space to the other side of the portal, you see Murderbeard is like behind you, going to be the last one through the portal. And as you step through and like disappear, you see Murderbeard about to step to the portal, and you see like a hand hits his shoulder. And Murderbeard, as Sela vanishes, and you go to step through the portal, you are like kind of stopped, and you turn and you look, and Tori and Adrian has like put a hand on your shoulder. And he goes, Lady Sela is extremely averse to my interferences in your affairs, but... And he looks like dead in your eyes, and he goes, hard to port. And then he lets you go.
Man, back on the ship, Scylla lands and immediately is turning back around and is like yelling and is like, I knew we couldn't fucking trust those people. And then he probably pops back up immediately after that.
So see, Tori and Adrian says this to you, and then lets you go.
Let me ask one question. Is that supposed to be metaphorical or non-metaphorical future advice?
As you ask this, he's going like... And when he gets to like 5, he goes, figure it out! And he kicks you. You come through the portal. What do you do when you come through the portal?
Land on my ass. That's what I do.
Yes, you land on your ass.
Can everybody see through the portal?
I feel like is it like one way?
This is a one-way one. As you come through, the portal closes behind you.
But I'm saying, like, did everybody else see what happened? Or...
No, they did not see what happened. Sela caught a glimpse of him, like, put a hand on your shoulder. He says this to you. You go, like, let me ask one question. He's like, nope. And he pushes you through the portal. And then the portal closes. So you, like, land on your ass. You're on the deck of the ship. You have, like, an instant here to do something. What do you do?
Instantly before the portal closes, you mean?
No, the portal closes. I'm giving you, like, a second here to do something. Take some sort of an action. What do you do?
I'm gonna go to the wheel of the ship.
Okay.
Immediately.
All right, you get up off your ass. Everybody make a perception check.
16, which is pretty good for me.
No.
13.
16, 13. What was Nimue and
15.
15?
I had
Like, Sis and I
13.
both got 13.
Okay.
Mhm.
And Macbeth, I'm not gonna have you make one. That's fine. DC was 10, so you all make this. You guys, one after the other, shut through the portal. There's like a split second pause of like 4 or 5 seconds, and then Murderbeard like comes through. Basically, what happens is you step out of the sort of like serene, tranquil hall, Ladrius Keep hall. You emerge onto the ship, and you are immediately assailed with the sounds of shouting, the smell of gunpowder, and the like listing of the ship. As for like basically the rest of you, like, you know that scene in like the one of the original new Star Trek movie where they come out of warp drive into like the battlefield? You guys step through this portal, and like a fucking cannonball like rails through the side, like the side thing of the Grimm's Folly, and like shrapnel goes everywhere, and you You hear a Poro Dazan from up in the Stern Castle goes like, get down, brace yourselves. The ship is in a fight of some sort as you guys come out of the teleporter. Murderbeard, you get kicked through the portal. You get to your feet. You begin to run to the Stern Castle. Apora is on the wheel at this moment.
As I make my way there, I will call to Apora, hard to port, while I'm making my way to then take the wheel, but they can get it going.
Okay. So you go hard to port, and Apora goes, without missing a beat, as the five of you have just appeared on the deck, Apora just goes hard to port, and spins just spins the wheel, and the momentum of their arms spinning the wheel carries them in a motion that they then spin away and step away from the wheel, and you catch it as the ship begins to list. The group of you gather your bearings here as the ship rocks. You hear the shout of hard to port goes up. So you kind of brace yourselves as the ship lurches to one side. And no sooner does this happen than there is a geyser of water comes up directly where the hull of the ship would have been a second ago, as a cannon strike just hits the water beside you. You look out. The ship is not at Naporia.
What?
The ship is elsewhere. You're out to sea, and there are 2 Ignean warships, in a dogfight with the Grimm's Folly as you guys come back out of this portal. And that is where we'll end tonight's session.
Where the fuck are we?
Can we see Naporia?
You
at
cannot
all?
see. You are out
No
to
land.
sea. You are not. Naporia is not nearby.
We just leave the children behind.
We'll find out when this is over.
Oh no, did we bring them with us?
They were left with my dad.
The kids were on the island getting trained.
They're probably safer there.
They're safe.
Well, we
I
don't know
literally
that.
abandoned my
We
dad
don't
when
know what's going on in Naporia that we're here.
Gosh.
Well, hey, thank you guys for
There's too
for
much
joining
joy in
me
that,
tonight.
sir.
I took a lot of joy in that. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. Thank you guys at home for hanging out with us. I appreciate everybody chilling in chat, giving some bits were donated to give some players some roles and things like that. That is awesome. So thank you guys for that. Thank you to our sponsors, Little Dragon Corp and Cardboard Castle, as always. Don't forget, it is still live down there. The link to our Extra Life stream. We surpassed our goal of $1,000, which is friggin' awesome. But no sense in stopping there. If you are able to donate, please do so. We greatly appreciate it for an excellent cause. But that's all for tonight. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with the Fool's Errant, and then the week after that with the Grimm's Folly crew again to conclude what is happening as they have popped back up on the Grimm's Folly and find the ship in a ship-to-ship battle with a pair of Ignean destroyers. So thank you guys for joining us. We will see you as always next Tuesday. Bye.
I love you. Bye.